Hello, welcome to this video. Thank you so much for tuning in and sharing in this now moment with myself and with one another. If you haven't seen these videos before, welcome back. If you have, my intention is unity and oneness and the highest levels of love light. I'm just gonna go into a little card flow. This will be kind of a word play, most likely, and a little share from my higher self to you. And so as we transition through these new times, we might call it, we find ourselves looking towards the future. We find ourselves looking beyond that which is now. And yet this oftentimes takes us out of the now and moves us into a future track of the mind. And so we would invite those that are constantly looking to the future for their source of happiness or hope to come back into the now in order to remove ourselves from the one-track mind and go back to the oneness that is in and found within the heart, within the kindness and compassion that we must feel in order to project our consciousness into the reality or the future track that we would like to feel more expansive, love, blissful, abundant, healthy, vibrant in. And so we must go within in order to produce that which is then provided without. And so many are feeling that they are lost in this transition because this is a transitory road, one might say. This map that we are co-creating together is leading us in a particular direction. And this directional force can sometimes feel as if it is pulling us off course, and yet we are always on the right track from one perspective. So we would invite you, we would invite one another, we would invite ourselves to continue to focus on the expansive perception that all around us is happening to each individual unique expression in their own experience, in their own time, in their own experiential time. And this momentous transition, that seems to be the theme word, is allowing us to play with time in a much more accessible way. And this will be a topic perhaps discussed and shared with in a future transmission. But back to the word transition, moving from one place to another, moving from one form into another form, moving from one form of light exposure into a I'm hearing longer exposure. So while time seems to be speeding up, the more present we can be with what we're experiencing in the moment, the farther ahead we can see. The easier it is to get out of our heads to see what we are really producing, or we have the potential to produce in that now moment. We always speak of the future production, for we are putting on a play, one might say, that is producing a future play. We are changing the stage. We are going through different experiences in order to experience a different, I don't know much about acting, but I'm seeing like different plays, different stages. Scene 1, scene 2, and coming to some sort of resolution. And so there has been many energies that seek to shake things up and add a little flavor to these stages within the play, one might say. But we are inviting all of us, all of you, all of we, to sit for a moment, to sit back, I'm hearing on our haunches, and then this is leading me into play with the word hunch. Sit back on our hunches and recognize how far we've come. Recognize what it feels like to be present with our creations, to not jump ahead to the next scene when we haven't fully processed what it is that we have already seen, or that we have already produced, or what it is that we are seeing now in order to increase our production, our human potential. For our human potential is unlocking a vast array of major political reformation. And this is a play, in addition, a play on words. For politics, I'd have to look up what the definition of politics is, but it isn't what we've come to believe it is. We are changing the poles. The poles have shifted. We are circumnavigating in a new direction. We are expanding our circle. And as we do this, many are not sure of what the future looks like. And so we come back to the beginning of this message. We are being called to be present with the present moment in order to create the future that we want, that's in alignment with our highest creative expressions. Again, what I said, abundance, health, and well-being. The less restrictions, the better. For the more that we restrict our creative potential, the less we are able to harness our creative potential, and the more we become harnessed by the restrictions. And we touch briefly on the political realm or stage, because that is what is holding many people's attention in the now moment. And we come back to share that where attention goes, energy flows. Where intention goes, energy flows. So are we intentionally placing our attention on something that is actually looking to redirect our energy flow? Pulling us out of the flow, pulling us out of what we truly know, and bringing us into a realm that we think we know, but in actuality is, I'm hearing it's a machine that's essentially, boy, I could go into that. I'm not going to necessarily go into that right now, but we're being called to unify and redirect our energy in a pattern and step out of the old patterns that capture our attention, that capture our energy. And I'm seeing pictures right now with captions. And so if you see a picture and it doesn't have captions, you make up your own captions to, you guys have probably seen that, caption this. And we all come up with these creative ideas that picture represents to us. But we're being provided with pictures that have the captions on, that are capturing our attention to tell us what that picture or association means to us, when in actuality, that's not what it means. We're just being told that's what it means. So we would call everybody to draw our attention away from the big screen, the movie that is being projected on screen, and the Actors Guild that are exceptionally well, I'm seeing like there's a play with the word guild. It's like a union. It's like this particular group of people have formed a union, and they're not necessarily, oh boy, it's the past. It's already been played out. So we have harnessed a new creative abundance as humans. And as our creative abundance flows through us, it flows from us, we are able to express with this new abundant set of chords, allowing us to cut the old cords of unintelligent. So I'm seeing that in reference to our innate intelligence and our inner intelligence. Chords, and I'm seeing like a marionette, one of those, like a puppet, you know? And we are accessing a musical, harmonious composition that is held within the chemical body, the chemicals in the body. We could call this innate inner heart intelligence. We could call this Kundalini. We could call this evolution. We could call this expansion. We could call this the song and the sound that is the fabric that is holding together our spell of reality. It spells out the letters of alchemy that are written on the heart. For all alchemy begins within. All alchemy begins with our own intention, and there, from there, spills out or spells out what we wish to see created in our reality. And many would say, well, that is not how reality is not how I wish it were to look. And we would say that that is in part because we forgot how reality really works. And many of us are beginning to remember. I'm seeing Dorothy clicking her heels together. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. Ooh, I'm getting goosebumps. Many people are beginning to remember who they really are. And through this power that is coming back online, we gather our forces and we let go of the force that was utilized to keep us on a particular course. And I'm hearing chorus, song, singing the same songs. And I'm seeing like a maestro that was saying, listen to this, eat this, watch that, you know? And so we begin to sing our own symphonic resonance that holds a different pattern. It holds a different frequency. It creates different patterns, or from another perspective, it creates different habit patterns, and we break free of the harnessing the reins. We break free of the old patterns that may have kept us in the delusion. And we begin to create our own illusion. We begin to step out of the illusion that we are not powerful, that we are not in our own charge. And that's a play on words. It has to do with electrical currency. It has to do with value. It has to do with the fact that we've been giving our energy and our attention to certain, orders. We've been taking orders and fulfilling them rather than and I'm hearing, it's not about giving orders. It's not saying I'm in charge of my own. It is, but it's a softer energy than that. It's a deeper feeling of presence that we're starting to tap into. And I'm hearing taproot. So we're tapping into the root of our sacred charge. And again, this has to do with Kundalini. It has to do with our own energy. It's heightened right now with, and so as our energies heighten, as our expressive creativity heightens, my light's gonna get a little wonky here. We then change. So we're being called to recognize that as we increase our charge, sometimes people don't know what to do with it. And so they go back into the same habit patterns. And the more charge we have, the more we charge those habit patterns. Whatever that might be, fill in the blanks. What habits have we been creating in the past, right? That might be, that might have taken charge of our reality, or that we gave our attention to. So now we're looking at this going, I have all of this charge. What am I going to do with it? And we're being called, again, I'm being called to end on this note, to transition with grace. And I'm seeing transition lenses. Like transition lenses, when you go outside, glasses, they adjust. And I talked about the adjustments. So they adjust slowly, but not too slow. And they adjust according to the amount of light that we're surrounded by. So what I'm seeing is, and I'm going back to the political realm just because that's a big subject matter right now, use our transition lenses and recognize that things have shifted. And it may seem subtle, but the higher our charge gets, the more our outside reflection reflects back to us, right? This, it gets louder to try to grab our attention, because our attention is powerful. And I'm just seeing how we've kind of, I'm going to end on this note, but we've actually up-leveled as a human, not humanity. I've got to kind of get out of the sun, and I also have to run. But bottom line is, I'm seeing evolution. I'm seeing us as we've evolved. We've hit this higher level, this higher note, this higher space of alchemy. But if we're not utilizing our resources, and we're giving our resources away by tuning in to somebody else's stage, we've got to start creating and being that change we want to see in the world. So that's the message. We've up-leveled yet again. We have a lot of help coming in. And the more we see the craziness out there, the more we're being called to go within and focus on what it is we really want to create, not continuing to create someone else's story. And our stories, by the way, I'm going to end on this note, may have changed. 6 months ago, our story may have looked different. And so recognizing, though, that it is a story. So we're the writers. We're co-creating and writing these new programs. So let's be conscious of the programs that we're introducing into this new realm, rather than reenacting old programs. And this may seem like a very simplified message, but it's keep it simple, starseeds. Sometimes we just need to remind ourselves that we have this within us. And as a collective, it's a very powerful surge that is being pushed or pulled out of us right now. And so, I've got goosebumps. So lots of heightened, can't get rid of my goosebumps. Lots of heightened telepathy, lots of heightened Kundalini activity, lots of heightened purging, lots of heightened discomfort in the body, which leads to, kind of working through things. Lots of dark night of the soul, which is a good thing in many cases because it means we're making progress. Lots of letting go of all of that and being completely free or feeling completely free. Lots of health issues right now. Lots of surviving health issues right now. Lots of people coming together in collaboration and community. Many people are starting to channel. Many people are starting to, so I'm just sharing, there's a lot of beautiful events that are unlocking our human potential. So we just are being called to keep on that one track of oneness in our unique individual expression and not get pulled into an ideology of what we should be expressing, how we should be expressing it. It's going to look different for everyone. And I'll go into that more detail perhaps another time. In love and light, guys. Namaste.